I've been flying the Airbus A320 for 1 year now, and here's everything I've learnt. And over the last year, I've been flying the A320 family. I've done over 600 hours and over 300 sectors. So over the last year, I've learnt so much, and I'm here to share everything I've learnt so far and the biggest lessons. Firstly, the Airbus is a weird and wonderful plane. There's so many quirks you have to learn. And one of the biggest things you have to learn is how to master the FMGC. The FMGC can make your life so much easier, but it can also make it so much harder. Once you learn how to use the FMGC and everything it can offer, it can make your life so much easier, and until this day I'm still learning. With the FMGC you can do so much things. You can put in pseudo waypoints, you can put in altitude constraints, you can put in speed constraints, you can put in waypoints that you want. You can do so many different things, different routes, and it can make your life so much easier. It's like anything, if you give it good information, it will give you good information out. So you can literally set up the box how you want it and let go of the aircraft, and it will fly a perfect CDA approach if you got everything set up correctly. If you want to see a video on how to do everything on the FMGC, I'll make a video about it as well. Let me know. With the FMGC, there's so many different ways to do certain things, and you'll see different people do it different ways. So there's no one right way to do it as well. Now, the hardest thing for me to learn was how to manipulate the energy of the aircraft. Now, the A320 has a very efficient wing, and sometimes it just doesn't slow down, especially if you're going to places like Spain, where for some reason they always give you a tailwind. And learning how to manipulate the energy of the aircraft is a big skill, and it takes a lot of experience to learn, but there's so many different things you can do there's so many different ways you can manipulate the energy, using speed, using changing aircraft modes, and using speed brake as well to get energy out or put energy into the aircraft. And one of the ways I've learned to manage the energy of the aircraft is just having gates. So I know below flight level 100 I have to come back to 250 knots, around 20-ish miles I'll start slowing down to 220, around 15 miles slow down to 180 flap 1, around 8 miles flap 2 and 160, and then 165 to 5, that's what we fly at the airport I fly into. So having those gates can make life a lot easier, and you just know in the back of your head this is what you're going to do. And you can't do it for every airport. You have to be dynamic, you have to adapt to the environment as well, and that's another big lesson you have to learn when flying commercially and the Airbus as well, is that you'll fly into so many different places, and an arrival you flew last week may be different to an arrival you're flying on the day. So you just have to you have to be dynamic and adapt. Another thing you have to learn is the side stick. On a small plane, whenever you put in an input into the stick, you get an equal deflection in the elevators or the ailerons. But the Airbus, it works a bit differently. So when you put in any roll movement into the side stick, the Airbus will give you a roll rate. And when you put any pitch input into the Airbus, the elevators and the horizontal stabilizer will give you a load factor, not a pitch rate. So my main takeaways when flying the Airbus is learn all the modes, learn what they do, learn the difference between the managed modes and the selected modes. That makes your life so much easier. Learn how to use the FMGC. I'll probably put a video about the FMGC and all the modes. Learn how to use the side stick. One of the best pieces of advice I got is when you're using the side stick, less is more. You don't want to be yanking it left and right, as they would sometimes call it in the sim. You're stirring the pot. You don't want to stir the pot. You want to give it small, gentle movements, and that just works out a lot better. And lastly, have fun when flying the Airbus. It's a really cool plane to fly. So much better than the Boeing, unfortunately. I've spoken to so many people that came from the Boeing to the Airbus, and they just say life is so much better flying the Airbus. Enjoy flying the Airbus, and thanks for watching.